Welcome back to Chat Like a Native. We are tackling a massive pain point today. I think it's one that every serious English learner faces.
Yeah.
Just information overload.
Oh, absolutely.
You're studying, you're maybe prepping for a big test, and you have pages and pages of notes. We see learners like Fatima, trying to memorize these long, straight lists of words.
And the connections just aren't there. She's working so hard, but those really high-level words just slip away almost as soon as she learns them.
Exactly.
And that kind of note-taking, that linear list, it actively fights against how your brain is designed to work. Your brain is a network. It's not a scroll of text.
Right.
So today, we're really providing a critical shift in skill. It's about moving from those isolated lists to a repeatable visual network. We call it language mapping.
And the real benefit for you listening is a 10-minute daily method. You'll build a personal dictionary that dramatically improves your memory, helps you understand complex grammar, and this is the most important part, it trains you to use those natural phrases, those collocations that really make you sound fluent.
And it works because mind maps force you to process the information more deeply. They actually imitate your brain's natural structure.
So to make this whole technique stick, we have a little mnemonic for you.
The 3 C's of language mapping. You have to connect ideas visually, color your map to build those visual hooks, and always, always collocate map the natural word combinations, not just single words.
Okay, let's unpack this before we get into the how-to. Let's just define what we're talking about. What exactly is a mind map? Why is it so much better than just a regular organized outline?
Well, a mind map is really just a picture of information. It's a radial diagram. You take one central idea, let's say the future of work,
Okay.
and you radiate branches out from that core idea. It just looks fundamentally different from notes because it avoids paragraphs. It looks more like a tree or a spider web.
Or like a map of your brain, I guess.
Exactly, a neurological map.
My first thought, and I bet a lot of people listening are thinking this, is that this just sounds like a fancier billeted list. If
Yes.
I'm planning an essay, I already use headings and subheadings.
Right. Why does drawing it out, the color, the spatial element, why does that unlock better memory?
That is the core difference right there. An outline is sequential. A map is associative.
Associative.
Yeah. The power is that it forces your brain to use its visual spatial memory. When you use color and arrows and you physically place things on a page, you're lighting up different parts of your brain. Your brain stores location much better than it stores sequence. Think about it. Trying to remember a 10-item shopping list versus remembering where the milk is in your kitchen.
Oh, the location is instant. I can see it right now.
It's instant. So if you map the word mitigate on, say, the blue branch at the top left of the page, your brain remembers it not just as a sound.
But as an object, in a specific place in my own little visual library.
Precisely. And that spatial memory is incredibly efficient. It's a form of what we call deeper processing. You mentioned Fatima copying lists. That's passive.
But a learner like Abdi, who's using a map, has to actively decide, okay, this word, infrastructure, it belongs under the investment branch, which connects with an arrow to the economic growth branch.
Ah, so that moment of making the connection yourself is what burns it into your long-term memory.
That's it. And it reduces the cognitive load. You're not just staring at a wall of text.
That shift from passive reading to active creation seems to be the whole game here. So, okay, let's move from the theory to the practice. For someone listening, an intermediate learner who wants to master these language chunks for work or school, what are the 5 repeatable steps?
We need a clear process, definitely. Step 1, choose and center.
Okay.
You pick a really important topic for you, something like global public health. You write it right in the middle of a blank page, circle it, maybe add a little symbol, a tiny stethoscope for health.
Simple enough. Step 2.
Establish main branches. Draw, say, 4 to 6 thick lines radiating out from the center. These are your big sub-areas. So for public health, your branches could be pandemic preparedness, chronic disease.
Public health campaigns, something like that.
Exactly. And the crucial part is use a different color for each branch from the very start.
Okay, got it. What's step 3?
Step 3, grow specific sub-branches. Now you're breaking those main areas down into keywords and short phrases. Under chronic disease, you might add smaller branches for sedentary lifestyle or dietary habits.
And we're still just using keywords, right? No sentences yet.
No full sentences, keep it short.
Okay, and step 4 feels like this is where the magic happens. Inject advanced language chunks. This is where you focus on those collocations that make you sound fluent.
Precisely. This is where you go beyond just knowing the word risk. You list the chunks you can actually use. So on the pandemic preparedness branch, you wouldn't just write vaccine.
But what would you write?
You'd list nouns like rapid diagnostic testing, verbs like deploy resources.
And those collocations.
Yes, phrases like mitigate the societal impact or foster international collaboration. This is what we mean by the C for collocate.
That makes the map useful from the second you make it. And the last step, step 5.
Maximize visual cues. Now you get aggressive with symbols. If a sedentary lifestyle causes chronic disease, draw a big arrow between them.
A star for the most important word, maybe a question mark for something you need to look up later.
Exactly. It becomes a living document, not a static one.
Okay, so we have the structure. Let's talk about how this actually applies. For vocabulary, this seems like a complete game changer.
It is. You're not memorizing anymore. You're building networks of meaning.
It's like the map forces you into what linguists call semantic grouping. You immediately see a word's neighborhood.
Under an urban planning branch, you'd naturally group together things like sustainable infrastructure, green belts, and traffic congestion.
And that grouping is perfect for learning those high-level collocations, instead of just the word emissions.
You map the whole phrase, drastically reduce carbon emissions. You don't just list growth, you map achieve sustainable economic growth.
And those are the chunks that immediately make your speaking and writing sound more advanced.
It's a huge leap. I also love the idea of including contrast pairs on a map.
What do you mean?
Well, on that public health map under funding, you could have universal health care on one side and privatized models on the other. Seeing them physically opposite each other on the page helps you structure an argument later.
That's really clever. And this leads right into grammar, which is probably the most stressful part for a lot of learners.
Grammar books are so dense, but maps let us see grammar patterns visually. You turn rules into spatial relationships.
So give me an example, something beyond just basic verb tenses.
All right, a tough one. The third conditional, talking about hypotheticals in the past, that's where it gets messy with all the hads and would haves.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic sticking point.
So you create a map called hypothetical past. Your main branches could be third conditional for a past unreal situation, and maybe a branch for common mistakes.
So you'd map out the formula visually?
Yes. For the third conditional branch, you'd literally draw it out. If plus past perfect in red, and then would have plus past participle in blue. And right under it, a clear example sentence.
And what about that common mistakes branch?
That's where you put visual anchors for errors.
Yeah.
A common mistake is using would in the if clause. So you write that wrong sentence.
And put a giant red X through it.
A giant red X. And an arrow pointing back to the correct branch. The visual shock of seeing the mistake marked so clearly helps the correct pattern stick. You learn the rule and the anti-rule at the same time.
That is so much more helpful than just reading a rule in a textbook. And I can see how this would help with speaking under pressure. Let's say you have 1 minute in an exam to prep an answer for, discuss the impact of AI on creativity.
1 minute is your mapping sprint.
Right.
Center is AI and creativity. Branches are positive impacts, negative risks, examples, future outlook. You don't write sentences. You just jot keywords.
Yeah.
Personalization, creative block, copyright.
And then when you start speaking, you're not panicking. You're just walking around your map.
You're walking the path. You start with the positive impacts branch, then you smoothly move to negative risks. Your answer is instantly structured, it's rich with vocabulary, and it's logical.
The same goes for writing, I assume. The map just becomes your essay plan.
It's the perfect outline. If the prompt is about specialization versus generalization in university, you map your whole argument.
So my branches would be specialization pros, specialization cons, and so on. But to make sure my essay flows, I should add linking phrases right onto the map.
Yes, that's a pro move. Near the cons branches, you literally write, however, or on the other hand, near your conclusion, you jot down, in summary.
So you're planning the language of the essay, not just the ideas.
Exactly. And then the writing process is just connecting those keyword clusters into full paragraphs. The hard work is already done.
This all feels most powerful when it's personal. It can't just be an academic exercise.
Absolutely not. The memory impact is so much stronger when you use your own context, your own emotions.
So ditch the generic examples.
Ditch them. If your map is on mental wellness, instead of writing take a break, write meditate 10 minutes before work or call my sister on Sundays. Those specific lived-in details are the best memory triggers you can get.
And what about feelings? Should you add those too?
Definitely. Use emojis or emotion words. If traffic congestion makes you feel furious, put a little angry face next to it. That emotional anchor makes the language stick in a way a definition never could.
So to make this a real tool, it has to become a habit.
It has to. So we propose the 10-minute visual English workout. It's a focused, simple routine for busy people.
Okay, let's walk through it. You pick your topic, set a timer for 10 minutes.
For the first 5 minutes, just create the core map. Center point your main branches in color, and quickly add your keywords. Speed is key here, just ideas and structure.
Okay, 5 minutes for the skeleton. Then what?
For the next 3 minutes, add the depth. This is where you focus on those collocations. Add the natural phrases, maybe 1 or 2 grammar patterns, and all your symbols and arrows.
And the final 2 minutes.
The active review. You look at your map and explain the topic out loud in English. Force yourself to use the language you just mapped.
You could even record yourself on your phone.
Great idea. Do that 5 days a week, and in a month, you have 20 unique, comprehensive maps that you built yourself. It's your own visual dictionary.
Okay, as people start doing this, what are the common mistakes they make? The traps they fall into?
Oh, there are a few predictable ones, and knowing them ahead of time helps a lot.
Mistake number 1, the passive copycat. Just finding a cool map online and copying it.
The fix for that is simple. You must always create at least one main branch yourself, or at least rephrase the keywords. Your own connections are what matter.
Mistake number 2, writing full sentences all over the map.
We talked about this. The fix is to be strict. Keywords and short phrases only. If a cluster of words takes more than 3 seconds to read, it is too long. Save the sentences for your speaking practice.
Mistake 3, perfectionism. Spending an hour making it look beautiful, but only 5 minutes thinking about the language.
Yes. The fix is to focus on function, not art. Start messy. The value is in the thinking. You can always redraw it later if you want.
And the final, maybe biggest mistake, creating these great maps and then just filing them away forever.
The make and forget problem. The fix is that maps are active tools. You have to review them. Glance at one for 30 seconds before a meeting. Use them to warm up before a speaking practice. If you don't review, the benefit just fades away.
So at the end of the day, what does this all mean for your journey to fluency?
It means mind maps are way more than just a note-taking trick. They're a multi-tool.
They're a vocabulary machine, a grammar guide that shows you patterns.
A speaking coach for instant planning, and a writing partner that organizes your thoughts.
It transforms English from this intimidating, endless line of text
Into a living system of visual connections that you control.
I think when you really commit to this, you'll feel a fundamental shift in how your brain processes language. The next time you see a complex new word in an article, your first thought won't just be, what does this mean?
It'll be, where does this fit on my map? And what are the natural phrases that go with it?
And that question, that's the real sign of deeper, more confident, and much more effective language learning.